Ugh. Zhuazai's hand trembled. Suddenly, he felt a soft light emanating from the jade pendant. A glimmer of hope flickered in Zhuazai's eyes. The messaging jade talisman was responding. Master Yi was nearby. He had to hold on a little longer, so Master Yi could come and save him. Hurry, please, hurry. Zhuazai cried out, Senior, please spare me. But before he could finish, the purple serpent suddenly bared its fangs, gathering a pale blue energy sphere in its mouth. The old man gasped in horror. What? You're... Just as the serpent coiled its tail around Zhuazai, firing azure beams that shattered his stone armor, a commanding voice boomed. How dare you touch my disciple? Master Yi, Zhuazai cried out in joy. Suddenly, the ground exploded, sending debris flying everywhere. A gigantic purple serpent emerged from the rubble, its mouth still full of debris. It hastily spat out the stones, then muttered to itself, Good heavens, the commotion from the thunderstrike technique is truly terrifying. I clearly experienced it once before. How could I have forgotten? What if the explosion just now attracted others here? The black serpent berated itself internally. Even if it kills me, I will never use the thunderstrike technique underground again. The purple serpent glanced at Zhu's charred corpse on the ground, then suddenly remembered something. But before he died, what did he say about Uncle Yi? Could it be that he had some powerful backing? The serpent worried, looking around nervously. I must quickly go rescue Xiao Bai and Manhwa. If someone comes here... Suddenly, a giant sword descended from the sky, plunging into the earth. Yi Haixin sat atop the sword, his face grim, and said coldly, Hey Shi, a creature of legend, does it truly exist? The serpent on the ground silently cursed Su He. You damn bastard. You really are a jinx. Yi Haixin continued. I've heard rumors of a demonic black snake and a demonic black dog hiding on this mountain. They not only possess superior intelligence, but also the ability to communicate in human language. They're accused of murdering disciples of the Bu Zone and stealthily stealing the precious Ling Wei rooster of the Xiao Yao Zone. At first, I dismissed them as mere foolish rumors. As he spoke, he unsheathed his enormous sword, but unexpectedly, today I witnessed it with my own eyes. So, the rumors were true. You dare to murder disciples of my Banshan Zone. Then don't even dream of leaving this place alive. The snake thought to itself, this foolish old man. Everyone around here are puppets under my control. It seems he's truly enraged. Detonate him. Yi Haixin suddenly noticed a bright red light beside him. He immediately swung his enormous sword to block the incoming fireball. Damn it, he cursed inwardly. I have to block attacks even in midair. Enraged, Yi Haixin swung his sword down at the colossal serpent. The sharp blade shattered the stone beneath into fragments. He roared, I'll sever your tail first. The giant serpent panicked, thinking, that was close. This old man is truly dangerous. Yi Haixin channeled his inner energy, reaching towards the ground. Bone shrinking skill, organ manipulation, beast control. You know a few tricks, huh? But those are just low-level child's play. The serpent gaped in astonishment. What kind of sorcery is this? A booming voice resonated through the air. Sandstorm technique. Swirling sand rapidly formed a gigantic vortex. The ferocious vortex surged forward. The raging sandstorm obliterated everything in its path. Even massive monsters were ripped to shreds by its terrifying power. The fierce wind uprooted even the largest trees. Su Hei's lizards were swept up into the air by the sandstorm, crushed, and reduced to dust in the air. The small snake coiled in the shadows, its heart pounding with terror. A radius of hundreds of meters, it thought. Such terrifying power. Truly a genuine foundation establishment cultivator. It glared at Yi Haixin with pure animosity, killing intent radiating from its eyes. The sharp blade was swinging towards it, sending shivers down its spine. How can I possibly defend against him? Before it could even think, Yi Haixin poured all his strength into a powerful downward slash. Ice Mountain Slash. Yi Haixin relentlessly attacked Su He, scaring him out of his wits. First form. Su He desperately dodged, using all his might to withstand the endless onslaught of sword chi. The relentless storm of sword attacks gave him no respite. After a fierce struggle, by some miracle, Su He finally escaped Yi Haixin's furious barrage of sword chi. Su He thought to himself, no, I can't face him head on. Su He, think fast. That's right, I still have the treasure He Huang made for me. Not giving Su He time to think, Yi Haixin immediately unleashed the second form of the Ice Mountain Strike. He swung his sword down with decisive and ruthless force, scaring Su He out of his wits. Again, well played, well played. From the terrifying power of Yi Haixin's attack, the ground cracked open, debris flying everywhere. Su He quickly spotted the falling rocks. Yi Haixin suddenly realized he had missed. Where did that snake go? Seizing the opportunity, Su He quickly used his Earth-Dun technique to escape. Witnessing this, Yi Haixin was enraged, preparing to unleash his ultimate move. So he wants to run? Not so fast. He focused all his energy, launching his sword forward. We'll see if my sword obeys you. With the situation hanging by a thread, so he had no time to think, no time to use his Earth-Dun. Cornered, he had no choice but to face the danger head-on. So he transformed, using his divine powers to fight back against the hateful old man. I'll risk my life to duel with you. In a flash, after an earth-shattering explosion, Yi Haixin's sword was knocked far away. Witnessing this, he was stunned, his eyes wide with shock. What's going on? My treasured sword, was it just knocked away? Su He, gasping for breath on the ground, thought to himself, is this the true power of a Foundation establishment cultivator? Completely different, worlds apart from that Shundaoling. The cultivation gap between us is too vast. To defeat him, there's only one way. Yi Haixin looked at his beloved sword, his heart filled with terror. It even chipped my blade. What secret are you hiding? While he was lost in thought, Su He quickly executed the Earth-Dun technique. Seeing this, he flew into a rage and roared, "You beast, you think you can escape?" Earth transformation. But after unleashing his ultimate technique, still nothing. This left Yi Haixin completely baffled. Why hasn't that damned beast shown itself yet? Meanwhile, deep underground, He Su was digging furiously. Even He Huang never suffered at the hands of this technique. But I'm not like him. And times have changed. Even solid rock can't stop me. Above ground, Yi Haixin was at his wit's end, turning earth to stone. Useless? Impossible. This beast is truly monstrous. No wonder my 2 disciples perished at its hands. I can't tolerate this any longer. Yi Haixin raged. But you've messed with the wrong person. Even if you can move heaven and earth, you won't escape. Earth-shattering peak. At that moment, He Su, comfortably burrowing underground, suddenly froze in terror, his eyes wide. His jaw dropped. Huh? What's this? With swift and agile movements like a swallow, Su He dodged most of the attacks, but a sword grazed him, leaving a wound on his shoulder. That was close. I almost got pierced by that blade. Witnessing Su He seemingly vanish into thin air, Yi Haixin was stunned. Impossible. How can he dodge without a physical form? His reflexes are incredible. Yi Haixin immediately commanded, "Earth-locking spikes. Pin him to the ground." Su He was terrified, completely bewildered by what was happening. Damn it, he's not giving me any chance to escape. Even shrinking my body won't let me escape this technique. In this desperate situation, Su He decided to risk everything and break free. Seeing Su He reappear, a smug grin spread across Yi Haixin's face. You finally showed yourself. Now face my slaughter burst technique. But as he looked closer, he was once again utterly shocked. Su He had vanished without a trace. Yi Haixin felt a surge of frustration. He must have used an invisibility talisman or some kind of magical artifact. Revealing mirror, show form, reveal him to me. But Su He remained invisible. Yi Haixin was completely baffled. Could have escaped during the chaos? But he didn't know that 800 meters underground, Su He was hiding a hidden and immeasurable danger. Fortunately, thanks to the invisibility talisman that threw them off. Otherwise, he might not have been able to return. At this moment, Su He suddenly understood that Lao Go's words were true. Fighting above one's level was like going against the laws of heaven and earth. To rescue Lang Wang and Xiao Bai, there were only 2 ways. Either wait for Lao Go to come and help, or while Su He was lost in thought, something unexpected happened. The old witch Yi Haixin had discovered his hiding place. Little beast, so you're hiding here. This terrified Su He. How did she find me so quickly? But then he realized something was wrong. I haven't extended my divine sense 800 meters deep. It's not that easy to find me so deep underground. If she had really found me, she would have attacked immediately. Why would she put on an act to alert me? On the ground at that moment, Yi Haixin used one hand to stab straight into the ground. His voice echoed nearby. You little beast. So you're hiding here. It turned out he was playing a trick to scare Su He. Why hasn't there been any movement? I've already probed 500 meters underground and still haven't found anything. He began to feel suspicious and bewildered. Could it be that it really managed to escape? Or is it hiding even deeper underground? Regardless, it came down here to save those two other beasts. Through the illusion, Suhei was observing what this idiot was doing. Yi Haixin dragged his sword along the ground, muttering, "Still not coming out? Still not coming out." This bizarre behavior left Suhei puzzled. Is he planning to just stand on the surface? Yi Haixin furiously plunged his sword into the stone floor, his mouth spewing venomous words. "I'll count to 10. If you still refuse to show yourself, I will immediately skin your two companions alive." He growled, his eyes bloodshot, radiating a terrifying ferocity in the confined space. The air was thick with tension, suffocating. These 4 earth-shattering nails can finish them off in seconds. Lang Wang, gagged, couldn't utter a word, but in his heart, he cursed the bastard incessantly. As for Su Bai, tears streamed down his face, silently praying for the person not to appear. "Please don't come out." Ignoring everything, Yi Haixin began to count. 1. Then he continued, 2, 4, 6. Witnessing this, Suhei was furious at the idiot. Damn it! Who counts like that? Unable to bear it any longer, Suhei revealed himself. "I'm here. Come down here if you dare. You're not allowed to harm my friends." Seeing this, Yi Haixin was incredibly smug. There you are, hiding underground, just as I suspected. No more games." He instantly used Earth Dawn, burrowing deep into the ground. As he dug, he muttered calculations. 100 meters, 300 meters, 500 meters, 700 meters. You dare hide 800 meters underground? Such audacity. Aren't you afraid of being crushed into dust by the immense pressure? The moment he detected Su Hao, he prepared to strike. Over 500 meters already. Even I have to be cautious. Activating pressure-resistant protective halo, he mumbled. "Found you." He unleashed a devastating attack, crushing the surrounding space. Su Hao cried out in pain. Seeing this, he sneered triumphantly. "Where do you think you can run now?" Cornered, Su Hao desperately transformed. "I'll fight you to the death." Yi Haixin scoffed. "Fight to the death? What do you have to fight me with?" He roared with laughter. He swung his sword, delivering a fatal blow to Suhi's head. The deadly strike sent Suhi writhing in agony, emitting pathetic hissing and mournful sounds. Seeing Suhi motionless, Yi Haichuan was dubious. "Is he dead? What a pity. I initially intended to capture him alive, but dead works too. His entire body is a treasure trove. I'll bring it back to the set." But as he muttered to himself, a piece of metal fell from the serpent's carcass, leaving him stunned. This is Emojin stone." At that moment, the young man froze, the horrifying realization dawning on him that he had been tricked. Damn it, it's a puppet. Yi Haichuan stared at the strange object before him with suspicion. What is this?" He looked at what he held in his hand in bewilderment, his face pale with rage. If it's a Mojin stone, a puppet, then what is all this flesh and blood? Highly focused on the puppet, Yi Haixin suddenly sensed an intense surge of murderous aura rushing towards him like dragon scales. It's a trap. Its true form is still hidden underground, less than 500 miles from me. Sensing the imminent danger, he reacted instantly, trying to break free from the ambush. Yi Haixin unleashed a series of swift attacks, so fast that his opponent had no time to react. Earth Shield, Ho-Tu's Earth Armor, Earth Flow Jasper Inner Armor. Though there wasn't enough time to unleash their full power, the defenses were as solid as a mountain of steel, not something a measly demon like you can break through. Yi Haixin roared furiously as he attacked relentlessly. "You vile creature, don't even dream of laying a finger on me." But as soon as the words left his mouth, he was sent flying by a powerful force. Rubble scattered everywhere. The blow left his head bloodied and throbbing with pain. Suhi, with a razor-sharp glare, looked at Yi Haixin, the man who was always full of empty boasts. "Just a little injury, you say?" Without another word, quick as lightning, Suhi lunged forward and snatched the sword from Yi Haixuan's head, causing the older man to cry out in shock. "My precious sword." Without hesitation, Suhi sank his teeth into the older man's leg, making him howl in pain and erupt in a furious tirade. "I only want your life. Spare my leg." Despite the sudden and cowardly attack, the older man quickly retaliated against Suhi. "Try to run, Quan Shanding. You still have a magical weapon, I see." Struck by the counterattack, Suhi quickly spun around and unleashed his ultimate move, the Fire Serpent technique. Wind Blade technique. Thunderbolt technique. Realizing he was outmatched, Yi Haixin immediately turned and fled. By now, Zhuan Su-hei was nearly exhausted, his body covered in deep wounds. He gasped for breath, muttering incessantly, "Learn, learn, learn, learn." His body had reached its limit, but he was just one step away. Learn, learn, learn. As for Yi Haixin, having narrowly escaped, he couldn't help but sigh in relief. Lucky to have escaped in time, thanks to the blood spirit pill that saved my life. Despite his severe injuries, he didn't rest for a moment, immediately wanting to return to the sect to report. This fiend cannot be underestimated. I must quickly return and report to the sect. If this demon isn't eliminated, it will surely lead to disastrous consequences. But Hei Huang was standing right in front of him, blocking his escape. What's this? He wondered suspiciously. Could this be the legendary black demon orb? Hei Huang simply smiled serenely. Haha, just keep thinking that. Yi Haichuan shrieked, whipping his head around and bolting. How can this be happening? It was lying in wait. Damn it, I have to get out of here. But in his frantic worry over whether Hei Huang was chasing him, he completely failed to notice the obstacle ahead, smashing headfirst into a large tree. He let out a pained cry. Ugh. The brutal impact sent Yi Haichuan sprawling to the ground, unconscious. Hei Huang caught up, climbed onto him, and cackled triumphantly. What's going on here? Huh? Is he dead? For a Foundation establishment cultivator, you're a pathetic sight. I didn't do anything. Su-hei, you little brat. You're no better. Mid-rant, Hei Huang suddenly heard Su-hei call out. Hei Huang, get off him. Oblivious to the unfolding situation, Hei Huang continued to chuckle carelessly. Oh, Su-hei had just finished telling Hei Huang to move when Su-hei lunged at Yi Haixuan's motionless body. Su-hei appeared right at his feet, catching Yi Haixin completely off guard. Fire Serpent technique. Hei Huang saw Su-hei about to incinerate Yi Haixuan's body and quickly intervened. Wait, this body, I still need it. Yi Haixin, under Su-hei's surprise attack, Yi Haixin suddenly stirred, groaning in pain. But immediately after, he lost consciousness again. Impossible. Hei Huang. Hearing Yi Haixuan's cry, Su-hei suddenly understood. Just now, did he use the breath concealment technique to feign death? Yi Haixin now lay still as a lifeless log, gradually being consumed by the fire serpent conjured by Su-hei's fire serpent technique, being engulfed in flames. Hei Huang snapped back to reality, seeing a drained Su-hei standing unsteadily, observing the scene. He rushed forward to support the collapsing Su-hei. Enough. It's all over. Everything is turned to ashes. Su-hei finally breathed a sigh of relief, a heavy exhale releasing a mountain of pressure. The battle was over. Hei Huang observed carefully, his eyes anxiously scanning the numerous wounds, both minor and severe, that covered Su-hei's body. He fretted, urgently asking, Su-hei, these wounds on you, were they all inflicted by those from the Wan Shan zone? Wan Shan sect. Su-hei, sensing his master's concern, quickly replied, only some of them, master. The rest, I did to myself. I tore away some of my own flesh and organs, the young man explained solemnly, to disguise my puppet. If I hadn't, I'm afraid I wouldn't have one. By now, Su-hei was utterly spent, completely exhausted. He could no longer hold himself up, wearily, collapsing to the ground, seeking rest. I need to rest for a moment. Hearing Su-hei's explanation, Hei Huang gritted his teeth, fury burning within him. His face darkened, his voice a low growl of rage. You mongrels from Wan Shan Zone dare to injure my disciple. I, Tianamo, San Run, will fight you all to the death today, in a dark cave somewhere. Hei Huang looked at Su-hei, curled up peacefully in Shao by Shi's arms, and instructed. The medicine is applied. I've set up a concealment barrier around here. This place can be considered safe for now. The three of you stay here and recover. I need to go out for a bit. Hearing this, Xiao Baishi looked worried and glanced at Su-hei, but he still hasn't regained consciousness. Hei Huang then took out an incense stick and said, Don't worry, I'll be back before this incense burns out. With that, the small incense stick suddenly transformed into a giant pillar several meters tall. Hei Huang sat atop the pillar, ordering Xiao Baishi and Hei Er go below. Adjust the incense. Yes, that's right. Shift slightly to the left. Witnessing this, Hei Ergu couldn't help but loudly complain. Your incense stick is so big and long. Xiao Baishi, standing beside him, fell silent, feeling helpless and speechless. Seeing their attitude, He Huang roared, "Shut your traps. This is healing incense. You're all seriously injured. How can it heal if it's not big and long?" After saying that, he jumped straight onto He Erga's head, beside the healing incense. "Have you all received the healing technique I taught you?" Xiao Baishi obediently replied. "Yes, we have." Hearing this, He Huang immediately commanded, "Good. Circulate the technique now." He Ergu and Xiao Baishi obeyed, immediately circulating the healing technique. Seeing this, He Huang nodded in satisfaction. The wounds are gradually healing. His gaze shifted to Su He's mountain of spoils, and he exclaimed with deep emotion, "Little Su He, all these treasures belong to you. I won't touch a single thing." Among the spoils were 3 pouches of tiger blood belonging to Zhu Zhe, Yi Xian. He paused, then muttered to himself, "Next, it's time to avenge Su He." Night fell, and darkness enveloped the world. In the solemn soul lamp hall of the Banshan sect, a furious roar suddenly echoed, shaking the entire space. "This is outrageous!" Inside the magnificent hall, the Banshan sect's sect leader, Shernai Z, a core formation stage 10 cultivator, was in a fit of rage. Junior brother Ye's soul lamp has been extinguished, and Elder Zhu Ji, a foundation establishment cultivator, perished in the wilderness. In the past 15 days, our Banshan sect has never faced such a terrifying crisis. Waiting for Shernai Z to finish, Grand Elder Shifeng Z slowly spoke, voicing his suspicions. The Banshan sect's Grand Elder, Shifeng Z, a foundation establishment mid-stage cultivator. This area isn't far from the 10,000 Snake Valley. Could this be the work of a branch of the Shizong sect? Although all are under the Shizong sect's control, fierce internal conflicts exist between the factions. Many Shizong elders are present in the hall, including Chun Daoling. Hearing his sect being suspected, he immediately spoke up. "Before our 5 Shizong factions entered these mountains, we all signed a peace treaty. Any conflicts that arise are limited to disputes between disciples. Killing a foundation establishment elder is absolutely unthinkable." Hearing this, Shernaizi nodded in agreement. Brother Daoling is right. You traveled from afar to participate in these negotiations. Yet this unfortunate incident occurred within the Banshan sect. We're deeply ashamed. Chen Daoling politely replied. Sect leader, sure, please don't say that. We all belong to the same sect, originating from the same source. After a heated debate, Shernai Z suddenly had a thought. If it wasn't caused by a cultivator, could it have been a demonic beast? Hearing Shernai Z's question, Shifeng Z immediately refuted it. Impossible. Sect Master should know that. Last time, Senior Xian Yang Zi's avatar was also killed near this area. We thoroughly investigated a 300-mile radius around the 10,000 Snake Valley and found no foundation establishment stage demon beasts. Shifeng Z presented valid arguments to counter Shernai Z's theory. Even if there were powerful demonic beasts, with junior brother Ye's strength, he could have easily escaped. Furthermore, the body was incinerated, not devoured, which is completely unlike how a demonic beast operates. Hearing this, Chun Dao Ling seemed to recall something. His face contorted with rage. He immediately declared, I know who the culprit is. It must be the work of the Black Serpent Demon. Although that snake demon hasn't reached the foundation establishment stage yet, its power should not be underestimated. It's not only incredibly intelligent, but also cunning and sly like an old fox. Several of my disciples have perished at its hands. Even I almost fell victim to its treachery. In short, it must be that demon. Shifengzi looked at Chen Daoling's expression and couldn't help but sigh deeply. A sense of frustration welled up inside him. It seemed Daoling's consumption of the forbidden medicine was connected to this demon serpent. Seeing Chen Daoling's unwavering conviction, Shurizi immediately believed him without a doubt. I've also heard rumors about this demon serpent. If Brother Daoling has fought it before, then this is a perfect opportunity for you to help us hunt down Chen Daoling. Hearing this, Chen Daoling secretly rejoiced. He gloated, ha ha, you're finished, you damned snake. The word you used is Russian and doesn't fit the context. I've replaced it with gloated. Shurizi immediately ordered his subordinates. Issue a command to all disciples. Search the entire mountain range immediately. Whoever finds a clue about the demon serpent will be handsomely rewarded with 50 spirit stones. Tonight, the Banshan sect will exterminate that demon serpent and wash away this disgrace. He Huang stood atop a distant hill. Hearing these words, he let out a scornful chuckle. Oomph. As expected, the fools of the band Shan's sect can't swallow this humiliation. Tonight, they'll use the tactic of luring the tiger out of the mountains. But this tiger doesn't need me to control it. With that, He Huang channeled his energy, his body enveloped in a bloody aura. He stood before the tomb of Wu Yao, the Banshan sect's founding ancestor. You pathetic rats, daring to bully little Suzy. Then don't blame me for desecrating your ancestors' graves. Hey, Huang entered the tomb of Wu Yao, the Banshan sect's founding ancestor, alone. The scene inside the tomb was vast and magnificent, yet also solemn and silent, making any intruder gasp in awe. Impressive. Suddenly, his eyes gleamed, fixated on the body of founding ancestor Wu Yao, resting within an ice coffin. This kid Shan Zong is quite filial, isn't he? Wu Yao has been gone for so many years, yet his body has been preserved perfectly, just like he was still alive. This ice coffin is definitely a top-grade spiritual treasure. If we're going to take something, we might as well take it all. But just as He Huang was about to make his move, a powerful tremor suddenly erupted, taking him completely by surprise. It can't be retracted? Suddenly, the stone dragon statue inside the tomb spewed out a stream of pure white, bone-chilling cold air. The cold air from this mechanism. In the next moment, a gigantic ice dragon materialized. It roared with an earth-shattering sound. Witnessing this scene, He Huang immediately understood. So behind the triple-layer defense, there's an ice dragon guarding it. Haha, I didn't expect there to be a backup defense mechanism. But He Huang remained completely calm, directly confronting the ice dragon. Today, I'll show you what I'm made of. While he was boasting, is there anything in this world that a supreme, heavenly devil like me cannot obtain? At that moment, the ice dragon suddenly unleashed a chilling blast of icy air, aiming directly at He Huang. In an instant, He Huang was frozen solid. Trapped within the thick layer of ice, He Huang roared furiously. Damn you! You dare! He unleashed his ultimate technique. Demon Claw shakes the heavens, shattering the icy prison that held him. He Huang then executed the heavenly devil transformation, his entire body transforming into a ferocious black dragon, charging straight towards the ice dragon. The ice dragon spoke with disdain. A mere machine from a tomb, daring to dream of transforming into a dragon? Laughable. Don't be so arrogant. Back in my days, I made the heavens and earth tremble. An eerie laughter echoed. Mwahaha, mwahaha. A savage laughter reverberated. Mwahaha, mwahaha. The sinister laughter continued. Mwahaha. There seems to be a strange commotion coming from Lao Tzu's tomb. Oh no, the masters have just left. If something happens at the tomb, we won't be able to bear the responsibility. The two disciples hurriedly ran towards Lao Tzu's tomb. The scene of devastation before their eyes at the Banshan sect left them utterly terrified. Their faces paled, and they exclaimed in horror, How? How could this be? One disciple, frightened to tears, cried out for his senior brother. Senior brother, what do we do? What are we going to do? They both looked around the tomb in panic. Lao Tzu's remains had vanished without a trace. This is a disaster. Lao Tzu's tomb has been desecrated. Quickly send an urgent message to the masters. Meanwhile, in a dense forest, Shernai Zi saw the search wasn't going well. Disappointment etched on his face. He questioned Qin Daoling, a hint of worry in his voice. Brother Daoling, are you sure your compass is accurate? We've been scouring these desolate hills for 2 hours now and found nothing. Qin Daoling remained focused on the compass in his hand, responding to Shernai Zi's concern. It can't be wrong. Unless that snake has gone beyond a 1,000-mile radius. A disciple searching beside Chun Dao Ling suddenly seemed to notice something, surprise flickering in his eyes. Is this snake droppings in urine? Chun Dao Ling, still clinging to his compass, muttered, That's impossible. Could it be that this snake, even for me to travel 1,000 miles, would take 5 or 6 hours? Hearing this, Shernai Zi also began to look doubtful. If it's not the compass, then surely that snake has used some kind of trick or formation to conceal its tracks. Lost in deep thought, suddenly, a pungent burning smell filled the air, snapping Shernai Zi out of his reverie. His eyes caught a strange glow emanating from a distant mountain peak. What is that unusual light? He wondered. I'll go to the next mountain over and have a look. Meanwhile, in the cave where Su-he and his companions were recovering, Su-he was enveloped in a brilliant, dazzling light. He roared with a voice that shook the heavens and earth. Heaven and earth as my board, all beings as my pieces. Spirit communication, 7th stage, breakthrough. After a period of recuperation, Su-he had finally broken through to the spirit communication 7th stage. Witnessing this scene, Su Ergo and Xiao Bai Shi, standing beside him, were filled with awe and admiration, their praises overflowing. Boss Su-he, you truly are my revered master. Have you reached the late stage of spirit communication? Basking in the praise, Su-he's heart bloomed with joy, but he tried to maintain a humble expression. How can a human be this strong? But his joy was short-lived. So he looked back at his scale-covered body and couldn't help but feel a pang of anxiety. Now that he thought about it, golden scales had already spread across almost half of his body. If this breakthrough continued like this, wouldn't his entire body be covered in golden scales? Xiao Bai Shi, seeing his sudden silence, asked with concern. But just then, outside the cave entrance, a cacophony of shouts suddenly erupted. Audacious demon serpent! You dare harm a disciple of our Banshan sect? Come out and face your death. Hey Ergo, hearing the murderous tone, was about to warn Su-he. Boss, there's... But before he could finish, Su-he clamped a hand over his mouth. The Banshan sect had found them. Damn it. The three of them immediately turned towards the cave entrance, observing the situation outside. The sound seemed to echo from quite a distance. My divine sense hasn't detected any presence either. It was likely just a simple explosion, nothing more. That old dog set up a protective barrier for me. He wouldn't be so distrustful, would he? Let's calmly observe the situation. If things get dicey, I'll risk my life to respond. Meanwhile, Shernai Z and his group had reached the area, close to the cave. Logically, the light just now appeared around here, yet there's no sign of anything unusual. Search every inch of this place. Following Shernai Z's command, the Banshan Zong disciples quickly dispersed, shouting in unison. Suddenly, a messenger eagle appeared, causing Shernai Z to become worried. This is urgent news from the sect. But upon reading the letter, his face instantly changed, turning as red as fire. His eyes widened in fury, his face contorted into a terrifying grimace. He crushed the letter in his hand. What? The Patriarch's tomb has been robbed. Shernai Z didn't hesitate for a second, immediately ordering his disciples. Everyone, follow me back to the sect. Hei Huang, hidden in the tree branches, watched with glee as they scurried away, scoffing with disdain. Just like dogs without their master. Ha ha ha, humph. Should I toss Wu Yao's body into the Bu, Xie Zong's latrine pit? Hei Huang thought about the spoils he had just acquired, a smug grin spreading across his face. He had originally planned to refine Wu Yao into a puppet. That would be truly entertaining. Too bad I didn't get the 3rd level of the Tian Kuei Zong's cultivation technique. Having achieved his goal, Hei Huang didn't linger, immediately turning to leave. On his way, a pang of regret hit him, and he muttered to himself, if I had known it would come to this, I should have gone to the Tian Kuei Zong and demanded a copy back then. With my illustrious reputation at the time, who would have dared to refuse? Especially just the Tian Kuei Zong. Even the prestigious Shun Kuei Zong sect had to submit to them. Shernai Z rushed back to Wu Yao's tomb. He howled in utter agony. Unfilial disciple. Unfilial disciple. Shernai Z bowed his head in repentance, then abruptly lifted his head and roared in questioning rage. Even the coffin has been stolen. Who is it? Who could have done this? The disciples standing behind him began to murmur amongst themselves. Back then, our ancestor was a prodigy, reaching the core formation stage, a figure whose power rivaled that of a half-step nascent soul cultivator. Who would dare steal his remains? I fear it must be at least a core formation stage cultivator. If it were a core formation stage cultivator, why would they stoop to such a despicable act? Chen Dao Ling stood off to the side, silently listening to the hushed whispers behind him. If it wasn't a core formation stage cultivator, then how could they have breached a level 3 formation, but weren't killed? After a moment of contemplation, he spoke, voicing the suspicions that weighed heavily on his mind. Why are the other sects safe and sound, while only our Wan Shanzong has encountered this disaster? Moreover, why did this happen right when our disciples embarked on their journey? Shi Fengzi sensed a hidden implication in his words, and immediately turned around, angrily demanding, Chen Daoling, what do you mean by that? seeing himself under suspicion. Chen Daoling hastily tried to reassure Feng Zi and clarify. Brother Feng Zi, please calm down. I'm just analyzing who the culprit might be. Everything that happened is too coincidental. As soon as we left, the ancestral tomb was violated. The timing of the attack. It's highly likely a deliberate provocation. Or perhaps someone avenging that demonic serpent. He continued speaking. Do you all know that cunning snake demon has an accomplice, a monstrous black dog demon? They specialize in raiding tombs and stealing corpses from villages at the foot of the mountain. Shernai Zi could no longer contain the rage burning in his chest. He roared with a voice that shook the heavens and earth. All disciples, listen to my command. Issue a full-scale manhunt for the snake demon and the black dog demon. Anyone who provides useful information will be handsomely rewarded with 100 spirit stones. Whoever eliminates them will receive 200 spirit stones. At any cost, we must retrieve the patriarch's remains. He Huang had returned to his cave. As he entered, he called out loudly. Everyone's recovery is going pretty well, right? What are you waiting for? Quickly show yourselves, pack your things, and follow me. He urged them on while boasting. I've found another mortal's cave. The terrain is incredibly suitable for cultivation. It's only 100 miles from here. Su Hei's group gradually appeared. He Huang looked at them with a puzzled expression. What's wrong with you all? What happened? Su Hei, gasping for breath from exhaustion, said. But outside, disciples of the Ban Shan Zong still lurked. Noticing Su Hei's worry, He Huang reassured him. Don't worry, I've lured them all away. Hearing this, Su Hei exclaimed in surprise. Huh? How did you lure them away? How did you manage that? He Huang didn't answer immediately. Well, I'll tell you on the way. If we delay any longer, I can't guarantee they won't come back to attack. All right, speaking of the spoils this time, He Huang was about to boast about his loot, but when he looked up, there was no one in sight. Huh, where did everyone go? Looking up, he finally noticed the other three were running for their lives ahead. As expected, the Ban Shan Zong haven't given up on attacking. Run! Seeing this, He Huang could only helplessly curse the fools. Do you guys even know the way? Running around blindly like this. Su Hei and the others continued to run like their lives depended on it. He Huang, hold on tight to me. He Huang yelled in desperation. Wait for me, you stupid snake. So, the group proceeded towards a majestic mountain known as Feng Shishan. Upon arrival, He Huang spoke up. This is the place. He Huang boasted proudly. I've already set up the formation. Everyone can rest easy here tonight. So he surveyed the cave and praised it admiringly. Old dog, you really have a keen eye. This cave is truly top-notch. Xiaobai sat on He Huang's back. Both of them observed their surroundings and exclaimed with emotion. This place feels just like Snake Valley. Wonderful. I will replant the snake fruit tree here. The next day, He Huang tossed down a strange object and called out loudly to Su Hei. I've finished repairing this big snake for you. Put it away. Su Hei hastily expressed his gratitude, but felt that something was amiss. Thank you, but why does your expression look so strange? Suddenly, as if remembering something, he asked He Huang. He called out, He Huang. So he carefully cradled 3 small gam bags as arms, slowly approaching He Huang. These 3 storage bags, he hesitated. Before Su Hei could finish, He Huang hastily tried to decline. I'm just going to go out for a stroll. Seeing him about to leave, Su Hei quickly stopped him. No need. This is your share. He tried to persuade He Huang. Last time, if it weren't for the large serpent that you painstakingly crafted for me, I wouldn't have one. Hearing this, He Huang's eyes suddenly welled up with tears. He turned away, choking back. Actually, there's no need. Last time, you went through so much trouble, and yet I couldn't help it all. He still kept his back to Su Hei, but his hand had quietly stretched out at some point. These should all belong to you. Damn it, my hand. Boo-hoo-hoo. I blame myself so much. Gravity manipulation. Looking at He Huang's wants it but acts shy demeanor, so he could only sigh helplessly. You look pathetic right now. Come here, quickly. After the 4 brothers divided the spoils, He Huang took out a strange sphere. It's time to test your spiritual roots. Choosing your cultivation path is a lifelong decision. It can't be taken lightly. He then called Xiaobai over. Xiaobai, you go first, put your tail here. Called out unexpectedly. Xiaobai was a bit bewildered. Huh? Starting with me? Hai Hwang Hualitli explain it. Didn't little Su Zi say you were interested in alchemy? Su Hei, who was lying down, also spoke up in encouragement. Go on, go on. He Huang then exclaimed, "If you can refine pills, then we'll be living the good life later on." The little white snake followed He Huang's instructions, placing its tail on the sphere. Like this? Exactly. It's already reacting. As soon as he finished speaking, the sphere immediately glowed brightly, turning jade green, and continuously emitted a mysterious energy. This is... He Huang looked at the orb, his eyes filled with indescribable joy. A single spiritual root of wood attribute, a supreme innate pill refining physique. Next to the brightly shining orb, a small, delicate flower, symbolizing the wood attribute spiritual root, gradually appeared. Hey, Huang couldn't help but be astonished by Xiao Baixi's extraordinary talent. A talent like this, even in the vast human world, would be considered a once-in-a-millennium prodigy, a rare talent that would surely become the target of competition among major sects. He Huang pulled Su He to the side, his face full of excitement, and whispered in his ear, "Little Su He, you are so lucky. From now on, not only will you not have to worry about lacking medicinal pills, but also, a single spiritual root of wood attribute. If it appears on the body of a human woman, she is sure to possess breathtaking, world-toppling beauty. If she can transform into human form in the future, who knows how many men she will captivate and infatuate." Hearing this, Sui's face flushed involuntarily. He looked embarrassed and dared not meet He Huang's gaze. He approached Xiao Baishi, gently instructing her, "These are some wood elemental spells and refined jade pills. Keep them safe." Xiao Baishi blushed, her cheeks turning a rosy hue as she replied, "Thank you." She stammered shyly, "Or rather, you." Her eyes, sparkling like water, gazed at Su He. Her small tail gently rubbed against his, and she softly asked, Should I call you Great King, my lord, or husband?" Xiao Baishi's question stunned Su He. He turned to question He Huang. The inherited memories that you passed on to her. What nonsense was that all about? Seeing Su He's flustered expression, He Huang was greatly amused. It replied, "That's just basic human knowledge. What's so surprising about that? Besides, before you gained sentience, weren't you two already husband and wife?" Black Dog. Seeing everyone engaged in lively discussion, He Ergo chimed in, "If I remember correctly, she should call you husband. It's more intimate and affectionate." But before he could finish, He Huang, perched on his head, barked out a reprimand. "You idiot. Don't ruin my plans." Su He couldn't stand the two of them any longer. "You take one too." Just then, Xiao Baishi slithered closer, pressing her entire body against Su He, rubbing her soft form against him. Su He almost lost his composure. She called out in a sweet, melting voice, "Husband." Su He, struggling to maintain control, replied, "I'm not your husband. My name is Su He. From now on, call me Su He." Xiao Baishi looked up, her beautiful eyes sparkling as she looked at Su He and asked, "Su He, then can I be called Su Bai?" Su He's face flushed crimson, on the verge of losing control. He could only agree. "All right, from now on your name is Su Bai." He Huang and Ergo also seemed interested in this naming business. "Don't I deserve a name too? How about the name Su Lang?" He Huang scoffed at the suggestion, his voice dripping with disdain. "That's pathetic. You'll take my surname, He, and your name will be Ergu." He glanced over at Su He, who lay unconscious on the ground. "Xiao Shuzi, you truly are worthless," despite Su Ergu's indignant wails of protest. "But don't I get a say in this?" He Huang coldly snapped. "Silence. It's your turn to test your spirit root." He Ergu placed his foot onto the spirit root orb. The orb immediately glowed, swirling with three colors, red, green, and yellow, all blended together. Witnessing this, He Ergu bellowed as if to announce it to the world. "Look everyone, I have a top-grade, tri-colored spirit root." He Huang finally spoke, immediately shattering his delusion. Metal, fire, water, a tricolored mixed spirit root, an utterly inferior aptitude. He then turned, reveling in He Ergu's misery. The more colors a spirit root has, the lower its quality, the more impure it is. It's like being a jack of all trades, master of none. But Bai Jing and He Ergu were left dumbfounded, their faces falling with disappointment. Both turned their backs to the wall, prompting Xiao Baishi to console and comfort them. Meanwhile, Su He was excitedly approaching the orb. "My turn." As soon as he placed his tail on it, the orb erupted in a vibrant display of rainbow colors. Su He was taken aback. "Huh? Why are there so many colors?" As soon as he finished speaking, the orb suddenly emitted a blinding pillar of light, shooting straight up into the sky. The beam pierced through the ceiling of the cave above, catching Su-hee and everyone else completely off guard. What the hell is that? Hey Ergu, struggling to hold on and avoid being swept away, couldn't help but exclaim. Such intense energy. Hey Huang cried out in fear, yelling, Su-hee, get your tail off of it. The crystal orb can't handle it anymore. Hearing this, Su-hee quickly retracted his tail, was immediately repelled backward by a powerful force from the sphere, smashing directly into Hey Ergu's weak spot, leaving him in such agonizing pain he couldn't utter a word. Witnessing this scene, Su-hee anxiously asked Hey Huang, just now I had a 7-colored mixed spiritual root. Could my aptitude be even worse than Ergu's, boss Hey? Have I lost all face? Don't I need to save face anymore? Seeing this, He Huang calmly replied, it's not that your spiritual roots are mixed, but that their quality is exceptionally high. Especially your earth spiritual root. It has reached a transcendental realm, beyond words can describe. Hearing this, Su-hee breathed a sigh of relief. You scare me to death. I've never encountered anything like this before. He Huang continued, but considering your cultivation speed, it all makes sense. Hearing this, Su-hee exclaimed joyfully, if my earth spiritual root is the strongest, so from now on, I will focus on cultivating earth-type magic. Exactly. He then turned to He Huang and asked, He Huang, you're the only one left. Aren't you going to test it? Su-hee immediately followed his instructions. However, the orb turned pitch black. Witnessing this, He Huang remained calm. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder. I must not belong to any of the 5 elements or these 7 elements. Su-hee, curious, asked He Huang, don't you have a spirit root? Or could it be a dark spirit root? Hearing this term, He Huang seemed puzzled, muttering dark spirit root. Then a smug grin spread across his face. He Huang immediately put on an arrogant air. Dark spirit root. That sounds pretty badass. Consider me a dark spirit root, then. Su-hee, it seems like I've recovered a bit of my power. Next, I want to go into seclusion for a while to make a breakthrough. Before entering secluded meditation, He Huang gave detailed instructions regarding food and guarding this place. Entrusting this important task to you two. There shouldn't be a problem, right? Su-hee responded without hesitation. Yes, sir. There are still plenty of provisions in the storage pouch. And as for guarding, as long as no foundation establishment cultivators or higher come to disturb us, there will absolutely be no obstacles. 1 month later, in a desolate and silent corner of the forest, deserted and devoid of human activity, Su-hee was diligently practicing the Earth Spike's secret technique. He trained with passion and dedication, lost in time, each move and step executed, with practice, skill, and mastery. Tu Lu Bai observed quietly, her heart filled with joy, unexpectedly achieving complete success on the first try. Suddenly, a daring and reckless idea struck Su-hee. I wonder if I were to use my giant spike to attack the wall I created, which side would prevail? As soon as he finished speaking, a giant spike materialized. As the spike pierced through that seemingly impenetrable wall, it effortlessly tore through its sturdy defenses, causing the entire structure to crumble in a blink of an eye. But the colossal spike didn't stop there. Its power was far more terrifying. Just then, the fragments from the shattered wall were suddenly enveloped in a radiant golden aura. Su-hee unleashed his ultimate technique, Ho-Tu's earthly armor, and the shattered debris instantly flew towards him, clinging onto his body. They rapidly formed a thick, rock-solid armor, shielding him from harm. Although the earth flow jasper couldn't completely block the spike's power, Su-hee, clad in the earthly armor, didn't hesitate. He charged directly towards the colossal spike, hurtling towards him with terrifying speed. The earth flow jasper alone wasn't enough, but combined with Ho-Tu's earthly armor, everything changed. There are a total of 16 earth elemental magic techniques. I've mastered 1 offensive spell and 2 defensive spells. In the future, when facing foundation establishment cultivators, even if I can't win, a safe retreat won't be a problem. After a period of relentless training, exhausted, Su-hee collapsed onto the ground, gasping for air. A wave of disappointment washed over him as he sat in contemplation. Although his magical skills had improved, his cultivation remained stagnant, with no significant breakthrough. Minor replenishing essence pills and high-grade demonic beast meat were the only things that could aid his cultivation journey. But now his supply was completely depleted. He He sighed, I guess I'll have to hunt demonic beasts again. Suddenly, He remembered the beautiful Xiao by Shi. I wonder how Su Bai's pill refining research is coming along, he pondered. A telepathic connection seemed to exist between Xiao by Shi and Suhi, allowing her to hear his thoughts and respond. Suhi, don't worry. I will definitely succeed in refining the minor replenishing essence pill for you. But Suhi suddenly recalled her 8 peculiar medicinal ingredients, sending a shiver of apprehension down his spine. Su Bai had given him a jumble of unknown, dubious ingredients, leaving him with no choice but to entrust them to his 2 dogs for testing, a sense of foreboding filling his heart. I better go home and see what's happened. Meanwhile, Su Bai was frantically searching for Hey and the 2 dogs. Hey go! Hey go! After searching for a while, she finally found the familiar figure hidden in a dark corner. Upon seeing him, Su Bai was overjoyed and exclaimed, I found you! So you were here? Come here quickly, try my newly refined pill. She held the mysterious black pill in her palm, smiling gently at Hey go. Hey Go's scream suddenly echoed through the mountains. Arg! Hey Go collapsed on the ground, his face contorted in agony. Help! Help me! Witnessing this, Su Bai was extremely worried and hurriedly asked, Hey Go, what's wrong? Hey Go was in too much pain to speak, managing only a few words, pill, poison. At this moment, Suhi returned, hiding behind a bush. He witnessed the entire scene, his jaw dropping in shock. Isn't this the innate pill refining sacred body? In my opinion, we should go out and hunt for some spirit beasts. No sooner said than done. Suhi immediately spotted a herd of mammoths, leisurely grazing in a vast, verdant meadow. His eyes lit up like car headlights at the sight of them. Delicious. Suhi surveyed the herd, nodding in satisfaction. This is a magnificent herd, excluding the calves and pregnant females. Even the weakest one has reached the 3rd level of spiritual connection cultivation. Just one would be enough to feed us for days. Suhi glanced at the most imposing mammoth in the herd and couldn't help but gasp in awe, especially that leader. It's definitely a great completion spiritual connection beast, incredibly nourishing. Lost in his admiration of the mammoths, he suddenly heard the sound of approaching footsteps. Suhi immediately became wary of the human sounds. Who's there? A group led by Hua Yuntian, one of Xian Yang Ziju's direct disciples, at the early stage of the Foundation establishment realm, is approaching, stepping onto the vast grassland. So he only needed a glance to recognize the origins of that group. Damn it, it's those snake hunters from the Xiaoyao sect. He observed them spreading out, forming an encirclement. Rage surged within Suhi. They don't even spare the elephants. How utterly ruthless. Without hesitation, Suhi utilized his puppet technique, preparing to move closer. He wanted to approach them and assess the situation. One of them began to flatter, praising Hua Yuntian to the skies. Unexpectedly, there are so many mammoths. Senior apprentice Brother Hua is truly a worthy disciple of Master. His reputation is well-deserved. Upon receiving the praise, Hua Yuntian responded arrogantly, My innate talent allows me to predict like a god. Ivory is a priceless treasure. The flatterer continued with even more enthusiasm. We will use the ivory to carve a precious gem and present it to the young miss of the Xia sect. She will surely be overjoyed to receive such a gift. Taming them will be like taking candy from a baby. He spewed vulgarity after vulgarity. But the elephants seemed different. They seemed to understand human speech and were growing increasingly agitated by the disrespect. Hold it right there. Just then, the lead elephant charged, trumpeting furiously and slamming its trunk against the ground. Yet, it let the men escape. That one's definitely the leader. Hua Yuntian was intrigued by the lead elephant's actions, his spirits invigorated. Interesting. Everyone, to your positions. Don't let a single one escape. Each man held a stone in his hand, then spread out and planted them in the ground. The stones formed a circle. As soon as they let go, the formation activated. The mammoth elephants were trapped within the cunning great formation. The lead elephant fiercely resisted, refusing to yield, frenziedly charging straight into the formation, attempting to break the seal. Witnessing this, the group of people laughed mockingly, their tone dripping with sarcasm. Wave after wave of relentless attacks rained down, leaving the elephants on the verge of death. Only then did Hua Yuntian slowly summon his weapon. A majestic spear materialized in his hand. With a single thrust, it pierced through the thick barrier of the formation, aimed directly at the ferociously charging lead elephant. Almost died, Hua Yuntian declared coldly. The lead elephant struck, roared in agony, its cries echoing through the air. Not stopping there, Hua Yuntian set his sights on another elephant. Gao Suhe watched from afar. Witnessing this brutal scene, he wished he could rush out and intervene. Wait, that's a baby elephant, Gao Suhe cried out silently. Fortunately, another adult elephant managed to rush forward in time, intercepting the fatal blow. Gao Suhe, disguised as a chameleon, was filled with rage. This was outrageous. Are these cultivators planning to slaughter the entire herd? I can't let them do this. I have to find a way to save them. Gao Suhe di Sonve. At least the pregnant mother and her calf must be spared. Otherwise, I'm afraid there won't be a chance to savor this delicacy again. But then, Suhi hesitated, uncertainty clouding his mind. Worry etched itself onto his face, like a snake hunter without the proper tools. I can't act recklessly. If I become the focus of their attack, I might not make it out alive. After a moment of deep contemplation, weighing the pros and cons, Sui decided to bide his time. He needed to wait for the opportune moment, the perfect chance. Meanwhile, Hua Wentian was still reveling in tormenting the elephants, treating it as mere amusement. These beasts are tenacious. Injured to this extent, yet they still stand strong. He couldn't help but admire their resilience. Their ability to withstand injury was truly astonishing. He watched as the elephants struggled to break the formation, a thought forming in his mind. It seems a direct assault isn't as easy as luring them out. But then, the elephant suddenly cracked a mischievous grin. At that very moment, the ceiling formation abruptly shattered. The entire herd of elephants rushed out, like birds escaping from their cages and taking flight. The disciples standing outside, realizing the situation was spiraling out of control, cried out in panic. Master Hua, the formation is broken. Several female elephants and their calves scattered in terror. Witnessing this chaos, Hua Wentian's face turned purple with rage. He furiously drew his spear, intending to slaughter the entire herd. You beasts! You refuse a toast, only to drink a forfeit. Do you want to be infamous in history? Then I will eradicate your entire race. But before he could strike, his spear was swatted into the air by the powerful lead elephant. He was utterly stunned, unable to comprehend what had just happened. A moment later, Hua Wentian came to his senses. He looked down at the defiant elephant with disdain, a sneer twisting his lips. You dare defy me? You stupid beast! Hua Yuntian roared, his voice echoing throughout the area. He commanded the sect disciples standing around him. Split into two groups. Wang Wu, the three of you chase after those fleeing beasts. The rest of you, follow me and destroy this monster. The disciples responded with a resounding yes in unison. Suhi was still in the form of a lizard, watching the three men pursuing the fleeing baby elephants and their pregnant mother. Suddenly, an idea sparked in his mind. This is my chance, he thought to himself, quickly assessing their strength. 1 at the 9th level of Qi refinement, 2 at the 6th. Seeing a window of opportunity, Suhi immediately revealed his true form. In a flash, he used Earth-Tone technique, chasing after the trio. I'll take care of these weaklings first, then figure out the rest, he muttered. The anguished roars of the wild elephants, mixed with the shouts of the three pursuers behind them, echoed throughout the mountains and forests. Wild animals scattered in panic, led by a gigantic mammoth. Suddenly, a baby elephant stopped, too exhausted to continue running. One of the three pursuers seized the opportunity, shouting to the other two, Zhang Shixiang, look, that baby elephant is exhausted. The three men laughed gleefully. Ha, excellent. I'll charge ahead. You two cover me from behind. We'll split the spoils as usual. Zhang took the lead, leaping into the air and swinging his sword towards the baby elephant. You beasts won't escape. You can't get away. The other man chimed in. A baby elephant's tusks must be worth a fortune. Seeing this, Suhi seized the moment, thinking to himself, now's my chance. Suhi let out a sinister grin. Seeing an opening in his opponent's attack, he decided to strike a fatal blow. Thinking was doing, he didn't hesitate. Suhi immediately unleashed his ultimate technique, Earth Splitter. A gigantic stone spike, sharp as a razor, shot out with incredible speed, aimed directly at Zhang San. The force was so tremendous that even the colossal mammoth turned to look. The fatal blow struck Zhang San squarely, leaving him little chance of survival. The two remaining accomplices, witnessing the horrifying scene, frantically search for their eldest brother. Impossible. There's still more enemies. One of them anxiously asked the other, "Senior brother, what should we do?" The other yelled, "Are you an idiot? Run. What's the point of fighting to the death here? In this desperate situation, fighting will only lead to our deaths." Realizing the dire situation, the remaining two turned and fled. They used all their windwalk techniques, desperately trying to escape. "Hurry, we must report back to Master Hua." So he watched their retreating figures and let out a scornful chuckle. "Run. I've been lying in wait here. No one escapes." In a flash, he launched a surprise sneak attack. A precise shot to the thigh made the man cry out in pain, stopping him in his tracks. What the?" he roared in agony. "My leg!" Looking up, he was horrified to see strange glowing specks. The sight terrified him even more. What in the hell is this? So he continued to treat them with another attack. Little lizards explode. A series of relentless attacks left them with no time to react, forced to endure the onslaught. No way to fight back. "Damn it, there are traps too," one of them yelled in despair, as another man writhed on the ground in pain. Sui suddenly emerged from the ground beneath him. The man screamed in terror at the sight of him, but Sui quickly silenced him with a gesture. He obeyed, desperately pleading, "Please no." But Sui seemed not to hear the plea, his face cold. Hesitated, unable to bring himself to act. So he ordered the bodies burned and the spoils collected, then said with disdain, "Serves him right." Suddenly, he remembered the herd of storage pouch elephants that had fallen into his hands. The mother and baby elephants had been saved too. Now that that's done, let's keep watching. Any more lone cultivators out there? So he glanced at the object on his tail, examining it for a long moment, still unable to understand why people would fight to the death over this thing. So he pondered, at a loss for words. All this for this? How utterly foolish. The natural scenery was tranquil, leaves rustling softly in the breeze. Hua Tian stood atop the massive mammoth, after it had collapsed to the ground. Seeing it lying still, no longer moving, he said triumphantly, "Finally, you're behaving." Beside him, someone spoke up, "Martial Uncle Hua. Good heavens, this tusk is enormous." The man nodded in agreement, then wondered, "Yes, it is. But why haven't those three idiots returned yet? With their cultivation level, it should only take half an incense stick's time at most. But it's already been a full stick." He then ordered, "Go and check on the situation." The other man immediately obeyed and ran off. "Yes, Martial Uncle." The young man remained suspicious. Could they have taken the treasure and run away? Suddenly, an earth-shattering scream echoed from the distance. The man startled. What was that? "Jit dia ding, Banshan zone." "Impossible." "Jit dia ding, Banshan zone." "Keep as is. These are likely skill names or sect names." Hua Tian roared furiously. "Who is it? Show yourself." With that, he unleashed a technique, his divine sense sweeping across the area. Meanwhile, Suhi was hiding in a cave, watching Hua Tian raging madly in the forest. He observed, this guy's divine sense only reaches a range of 300 meters. Not as strong as Yi Haidian. Perhaps he's still too young. Get out here. It seems that even at the foundation establishment stage, the difference in their strength was as vast as the heavens and the earth. But he couldn't tell if he was truly weak or just feigning ignorance. "I can't let Hua Tian fall into danger again. You're still stubbornly insistent on finding the mastermind behind all this. You despicable coward, sneaking around in the shadows. Show yourself." After a long moment of silence, he ordered his disciples to prepare for a defensive stance, just in case. 2 disciples immediately obeyed, their faces tense as they began to scan their surroundings. "Nothing. Cease attack. Activate the defensive barrier. Stay alert." Beneath Xiao Yao Kai's feet, his golden armor gleaming, a disciple in the distance suddenly spotted 2 mammoth elephants trying to sneak away. He urgently shouted, "Master Hua, 2 of them are escaping." He calmly replied, "Let them go. Someone is hiding underground." Right beneath those 2 disciples, a venomous snake was silently plotting a sinister scheme. "Look at them worry. Let me create a smoke screen, divert their attention." Suddenly, the snake reared its head and let out a piercing shriek that caught Hua Tian's attention. Thinking fast, he hurled his saber towards the snake while shouting, "Where do you think you're going?" He used his spiritual power to investigate and was horrified to discover. What? A puppet? The earth spike puppet technique. "Who are you?" Suddenly, a deafening roar shook the very ground. He gasped, "What was that sound?" From beneath the earth, dust and debris erupted violently, sending disciples flying into the air. Screams of terror echoed everywhere. Witnessing the chaos, Hua Yuntian gritted his teeth and cursed. "You cowardly trickster! Despicable! Shameless! If you have the guts, don't hide in the shadows. Come out and face me." Watching from within the cave, Suhi pondered the scene. This guy sure knows how to play games. Capable of assassinating in the shadows. So why insist on a direct confrontation? Suddenly, the ground shook violently, startling him. The disciples cried out in terror, frantically yelling for Elder Hua. A furious roar echoed, drawing his attention. "How dare you!" A colossal mammoth suddenly appeared, enveloped in a blazing aura of fire and smoke. It was Manjin, the leader of the mammoth tribe, who had reached the great perfection stage of foundation establishment. He roared furiously, "You dare touch my descendants, you vermin!" A terrified disciple ran towards Hua Yintian, screaming, "It's bad! A foundation establishment, great demon! Run!" Sui scrambled to the surface, observing the chaos. At this moment, all of them, including Hua Yuntian, were fleeing in panic. Mammoth leader man, Jin, soared into the air, pursuing them with a ferocious expression, roaring menacingly. Witnessing the scene, he wore a smug look, thinking to himself, "This is the first time I've seen a foundation establishment great demon so imposing, but he certainly did me a huge favor." He intently observed the unfolding events. Hua Yintian was being relentlessly pursued by Manjin. Scared out of his wits, his mind racing. With this aura, he must be at least late-stage foundation establishment, right? Perhaps even peak foundation establishment. But his speed seems quite ordinary. And that snake catcher is as fast as lightning. Let me try to hinder them a bit, and maybe snag some benefits for myself. He unleashed the earth spike technique. A colossal wooden stake abruptly shot up from the ground, sending Hua Yuntian tumbling forward. He cried out in frustration, "Damn it, that sneaky coward again, attacking from behind. I will tear you to shreds one day." The mammoth leader felt a surge of gratitude. Although he didn't know who his benefactor was, this kindness. "You petty thief, remember Manjin's vow. I thought you were about to meet your maker, but I arrived just in time. No more time. I have to risk it all." Hua Yintian unleashed his full power, launching a series of devastating attacks directly at Manjin. Earth-shattering strike, music steps on water, heaven's harmony. A cataclysmic battle of fire and water ensued between the demon leader Manjin and Hua Yintian. A fierce clash erupted. Manjin spoke with disdain, covering the sky and earth. "You think you can stop me with such meager skills? Today you will surely die." Suddenly, Hua Yintian's strength drastically weakened. His attacks dissipated into thin air. He stumbled backward, bracing himself with his hands. He thought to himself, "This is bad. I'm no match for him. If this continues, I'll definitely die." Hua Yintian struggled to his feet, trying to regain his composure. His face darkened, and in a fit of anger, he used instantaneous movement to escape. "You old beast. This time, the damage is severe. I must sacrifice the jade pendant of life and death reincarnation." A sudden notification sound rang out. That bamboo snake kidnapper. He has escaped the range of the earth spike formation. The owl, soaring in the air, glanced down below, issuing a warning. "A battle of this level. We'd best not interfere too deeply." It swooped lower, observing. Two mammoth elephants covered in wounds, drenched in blood. Their chances of survival incredibly slim. A dark thought concerning the elephants sprouted in the owl's mind. Except for the mother elephant and a few lucky calves that escaped, the remaining two elephants lay gasping. One of them a great perfection foundation establishment elephant. Secretly devouring a dead elephant is also very dangerous. Suhei Nyo, trapped between the two mammoths, was also moaning pathetically. Everyone's about to die. Suddenly, the owl spotted an elephant still faintly breathing. This one's still alive. Don't worry, I won't eat you. After all, I did lend a hand this time. Might as well see it through." He took out a medicinal pill and gently placed it in the mammoth elephant's mouth. "A minor restoration pill. This should be enough. There, eat it now." Half an hour later, the mammoth elephant began to tremble, slowly regaining its strength. Manjin rushed to its side, her eyes filled with worry, tenderly asking after the barely breathing mammoth elephant. Suddenly, she noticed something on the ground. "You're still alive? Thank goodness." Easy now, just lie still. Your wounds are still very serious. Lying on the ground was a small white bottle, seemingly containing some kind of elixir. She recognized it as a medicinal pill. Man. Jean suddenly remembered her fight with Hua Yuntian. She seemed to have unknowingly received help, along with this precious bottle of pills. It was thanks to that mysterious magic and this divine medicine that she had survived. Everything was clear now. Tears suddenly welled up in Man Jin's eyes. She burst into tears, sobbing uncontrollably. Today, thanks to the benefactor who saved my descendant, I, Man Jin, am eternally grateful. I beg my benefactor to reveal yourself, so this old man can kowtow in gratitude. Hearing this, Suhi continued to flee. Sweat pouring down his face, he thought to himself, should I just stop? With him so grateful, how will I ever be able to eat monster meat again? Better to keep my identity hidden. Making a clean getaway is the best option. The scene shifts to Hua Yuntian lying sprawled in the middle of the dense forest. Panting heavily, he remembered Man Jin and muttered, that Man Jin is truly formidable. In just a moment, she took down that guy, and even subdued the Foundation establishment serpent. Ordinary demonic beasts lack sufficient intelligence. How would they know how? To erase the spiritual mark on storage bags, so they definitely wouldn't confiscate them. Doesn't that mean I can go loot the bodies? He gradually curled up, enveloped by a golden aura. He muttered to himself, wait a minute, what if that old geezer is playing dead? Enough, this has to stop. I can't let greed cloud my judgment. 3 days later, Hua Yuntian could move his hands again. He started to struggle to sit up, muttering to himself incessantly. Reconstructing my body took 3 whole days. That old beast is truly vicious. Fortunately, I sacrificed the jade pendant of life and death reincarnation beforehand, or I wouldn't have survived. Hua Yuntian focused his mind on a nearby stream of white energy. It turned out to be his master, Xian Yangzi. Xian Yangzi spoke. Disciple, you're awake? Hua Yuntian hurriedly asked. Master, has that despicable villain shown himself yet? His master replied, since you feigned your death. It's been 3 days, and he still hasn't appeared. Such cunning. I'd give his scheming a 9 out of 10. Hua Yuntian coughed after hearing this. What? You think so, master? Xin Yangzi added, disciple, as for your mental fortitude, I can only give you a 0. Witnessing his disciple struggling in agony, Xin Yangzi said, you've suffered grave injuries this time. I will take you to Ziha Min for treatment first. He respectfully replied, yes, master. From within the cave, an earth-shattering explosion erupted. A blinding light descended from the heavens. A terrifying scream echoed throughout the space. Heaven and earth are like a chessboard, and all beings are merely pieces. 8th level of Tongling. Suhei sat by the riverbank, eating and muttering to himself. Not yet, although thanks to the little boy's Yuan Dan. My cultivation has reached the peak of the 7th level of Tongling these past few days. It's still not enough to break through to the 8th level. He recalled the mammoth leader from earlier, the colossal elephant who called himself Man Jin. I must quickly break through to the Zhuji realm. After Zhuji, I can roam the heavens, ride the clouds, and control the wind. How majestic. Through the Imbiabit. I must ask He Huang. I wonder what miraculous transformations I'll undergo. After reaching Zhuji, from the distance, an earth-shattering explosion echoed. Debris and dust were sent flying through the air. He Su, holding a fishing rod, jumped in fright and exclaimed in terror. Another explosion. Are those 3 all right? At that moment, He Huang, in the form of a jet black wolf, covered in dust, was coughing violently. He muttered, damn it, I'm choking to death. Bloody hell. Who in their right mind told her to learn alchemy? Lang Wang, furious, roared at He Su. You said she possessed the innate saint physique and a supreme wood spirit root for alchemy. I wasn't wrong. Hearing this, He Huang also flew into a rage. He howled madly. Then what the hell is the problem? I've never seen a genius whose alchemy is like bombing the place. Even hands-on teaching is useless. Everything she touches explodes. This is the 5th time today. The cave is about to collapse. Lang Wang and He Huang took turns blaming He Su. But she did refine a pill. She even brought me food. Only it was poisoned. Her previous deception skills were quite amateur. Anyone who ate it and didn't die was simply lucky. Meanwhile, Su Bai looked at the steaming pill. Her face flushed, stammering. But this time I succeeded. I refined a pill. Hearing this, He Huang poked his head out of his nest. Let me see. Upon seeing it, He Huang fell back, sweating profusely, thinking, this smell, this shape. He Huang hesitantly asked, what kind of pill is this? She replied cheerfully, look, it has taken form. It's the minor replenishing pill. My husband Su Bai asked me to refine it for him, and this is the first time I've succeeded. Su Bai also came closer to examine it, then frowned and said, this smell is too strong. No matter how you look at it, this pill is misshapen and burnt black. This doesn't look anything like a minor replenishing pill, does it? He Huang turned to Su Bai and said, Suhi, if you ask someone to refine a pill for you, you should try it out. Don't let their kindness go to waste. Come here, let me feed you one. He Huang trembled in fear and said, no need. I'm a humble snake, so let master try it first. Don't be silly, my good disciple. He Huang, stop pretending. Only now do you acknowledge me as your master. Well, that won't do. We're all family here. No need to be so polite. Sui quickly replied, you should try it first. You need it more than I do. Su Bai said with a chuckle, my pills are this popular, huh? But you two don't have to be so courteous. I can just refine another one. Enough for everyone. Hearing that, Su He and He Huang said in unison, no need. Suddenly, He Huang turned to Su He and said, wait a minute. We're still good brothers, right? Right, I've always thought so. Brothers, united. Just like that, the two boys wandered off, muttering something as they walked. I may have limited talent, but I'm not stupid. Witnessing this scene, He Huang spoke up. There's no other way. Go catch 2 demonic beasts and bring them back here. That should suffice. After a short while, He Huang looked towards the monkey, fuming with rage from being tied up, and a catfish, frowning, and said, Spirit Communication Stage 2, Spirit Communication Stage 3, that should be enough. He took out some pills, put them in the catfish's mouth, and carefully observed its reaction. Let's test this Spirit Communication Stage 2 catfish first with a small dose. The fish suddenly erupted violently, a purple aura enveloping it. It let out a groan, causing a stir among everyone present. Did it break through to Spirit Communication Stage 3? Stage 4. Not only that, it's still breaking through. Suke and He Huang stared intently at the catfish in the midst of its breakthrough. This pill is truly effective. It wasn't a waste to use the Bei Yuan pill after all. Just this tiny bit of powder created such a powerful effect. If one were to consume the entire pill, He Huang looked towards He Bai, his voice full of admiration. Truly worthy of being a pill refining prodigy, possessing a top-grade single with spirit root. My judgment is indeed impeccable. He Bai blushed, her cheeks flushed with pink, secretly rejoicing. I really am a genius. The fish's fin from earlier suddenly swelled up, causing He Huang and Suhi to gasp in shock. Wait, something's wrong. What's happening? The catfish now had 2 legs angrily, gaping its mouth, staring at them. Sui exclaimed, a fish with legs? It then opened its mouth wide and started to flee, letting out horrifying groans. Sui said, this fish has evolved. He Huang roared, evolved my ass. This is clearly a mutation. It's turned into a monster. Both of them looked towards a monkey from earlier in panic. Luckily, the little monkey, previously frightened stiff, had completely forgotten to run away. It had simply fainted. Seeing the monkey frozen solid, He Huang decided to shove the remaining medicine into its mouth. It might help increase its cultivation level. Swallow it quickly. A little embarrassment is nothing compared to the benefits. Just like before, a small explosion occurred. The result left everyone astonished. What in the world is this? The demon monkey's transformation was beyond Su He's comprehension. The demon monkey gradually evolved, going from walking on all 4s to just 2, looking like a giant chimpanzee. Witnessing this scene, Suhi exclaimed, it broke through 5 cultivation realms in a row. It reached the 8th level of spiritual understanding in the blink of an eye. He Huang broke out in a cold sweat and asked, the main point is, isn't it supposed to transform into a human? Suddenly, the demon monkey collapsed to the ground, its body emitting a suspicious, thick black-purple smoke. Huh, why is it motionless? He Bai asked hurriedly. The energy was too strong. It succumbed to chi deviation. Hearing this, he asked in shock, died from chi deviation? She quickly replied, sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't expect it to die from eating it. He comforted He Bai. Don't be silly. We caught this monkey to eat it in the first place. He Huang said thoughtfully, I don't understand why every step was correct, but the result is so wrong. She looked at the demon monkey. now dried up and smoking, lost in thought. From the ingredients to the refining process, there were no mistakes, but the effect is too strange. Moreover, this type of death looks very familiar. Suhei sniffed for a while, then muttered, "Something's not right, this smell." He turned, taking a soft inhale of her scent. Heibai's action made her blush, a rosy hue spreading across her cheeks. "Suhei, what are you doing? Do I smell like something?" He took a deep breath, then replied, "You smell lovely, but there's an unusual scent." Curious, she asked, "Unusual how?" He continued to probe. Right. Subai, what cultivation technique are you practicing?" Embarrassed, she stammered, Suddenly, Hei Huang realized something. "Could it be?" She responded, "The technique is called Tian Mo Gong, I think." Hei Huang pondered Tian Mo Gong. When I first awakened her potential, I forgot to address this. Tian Mo Gong is only suitable for a demonic physique like mine. But I've never seen anyone with a supreme grade with spirit root cultivate this technique. A moment later, Hei Huang instructed Subai, "Try circulating the technique." Suhei, step away from her. Suhei obeyed. Yes. Countless blood-red chains coiled around her, like venomous snakes lying in wait. In the air, countless bizarre feet materialized. Hei Huang spoke, his voice deep and commanding. "The demonic heavenly arts and the wood spirit root. These two powers have fused into one. Such strange true qi. In all my years roaming the Jianghu, I've never witnessed anything like it. Truly exceptional. This must be the reason why the pill has become so bizarre." A moment later, Heibai spoke up. "So, can we continue refining pills in the future?" Hei Huang replied, leaving her speechless, at a loss for words. "It was refined perfectly, but let's not do it again." Seeing this, Suhei approached her and gently consoled her. "Don't listen to that old fuddy-duddy. If you like, you could try many more times. Worst case scenario, we'll just capture a few more cultivators to use as test subjects. We'll definitely be able to refine a divine pill." He added, "This is a new pill furnace and some rare medicinal ingredients that I confiscated a few days ago. You can take them and use them." Hearing this, her cheeks flushed and her eyes glistened with tears. Seeing that she was about to cry, Guanren quickly comforted her. You, easy there. What are you doing?" Hei Huang specifically instructed me, made me promise that you'd be the one to ask her to refine the pills this time. Later, you better remember to use the pills that she painstakingly refined for you. Late at night, with Bai sound asleep, Sui breathed a sigh of relief. Phew, finally managed to appease that little lass. Meanwhile, Suhei and Hei Huang were quietly making their way somewhere. Hei Huang spoke up. "Suhei, aren't you in dire need of minor replenishing pills? I have a plan that can help you acquire enough minor replenishing pills. Enough for you to cultivate to the great completion realm, and even have some to spare." Suhei quickly asked, "So, can it help me break through to the foundation establishment stage?" Hei Huang replied, "Of course it can." Suhei pressed on, "And once I reach the foundation establishment stage, can I ride the clouds and soar through the heavens freely?" Hearing Suhei's naive question, Hei Huang burst out laughing. "What are you thinking? Do you think you're a bird? With just a bit of cultivation, you want to ride clouds and command the wind. Keep dreaming." Suhei pondered to himself. Then what about the golden core stage? He didn't question further and urged, all right, tell me what your plan is." Hei Huang then pulled out a circular object and slowly said, "We'll take a gamble and break into their tribulation transcendence pill refining room." It turned out to be a map. The two were secretly plotting something. "This is a map of the Xia sect's layout. Don't ask me how I got it. The pill refining room is right here. Are you in or out? When do we make our move?" In the blink of an eye, they arrived at the Xia sect as planned. Hei Huang spoke up. "Tonight, under the cover of darkness and a strong wind, we'll sneak in and steal their refinement pills.